Hello, real estate world. Welcome to the Nova Show, Real Estate Records. This is Nuria Rivera, owner of Novation Title. I wanted to create the space for you guys to be able to share success stories, but not only success stories. I also wanted you guys to be able to share raw stories. Everything that you have learned from the failures, the lessons, the wins. This is a space for our community to come together so that we can help each other rise to the next level. This is the space to be vulnerable, and this is the space for us to all be able to support each other in this real estate world. Please enjoy this episode.
Hello and welcome to the Nova Show, Real Estate Records. My name is Tristan Hammett and I'm your host for today's episode. And today I am thrilled to have Stephanie Aragon, a seasoned realtor with a wealth of knowledge about the Utah real estate market. A multiple-year top 500 recipient, Stephanie holds prestigious designations like MRP, ABR, and CLHMS. She excels in military relocations, luxury listings, and first-time homebuyer assistance. Beyond residential real estate, Stephanie also specializes in commercial properties and property management. Join us as we dive into her insights and experiences. Thank you for joining us, Stephanie.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, I'm so glad that she's here with me. I met her... Is it a NAREP event? Was that the initial time I met you?
It was.
So I met her at a NAREP event, and we have a mutual friend, Lisa, and I met you a little bit at a golf tournament, but really at the NAREP event.
It was kind of brief.
So I love talking with her. She is a wealth of knowledge, and she's just fun to be around, honestly. So I'm so glad that you've joined us today. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? How did you get in real estate?
So I'm from Tooele, Utah. Tooele. I guess we're all in Utah. I started in the industry probably, I would say 2007, 2008. Before I dipped my feet into real estate, I was in pharmaceutical research. So I worked for a company called Pivotal Research. That was a pretty fun job. But when the economy did its thing back in 2008, it's federally funded, so it was the first to go. And so I lost my job. And I decided to go work for a development construction company called DDR. And I was an administrative assistant to a project manager with them. And so I was able to learn a lot regarding the industry with them. And then, I don't know, just kind of switched channels. I went to work for the state for a little while, the state of Utah, and then I went to work for a property management company called Wasatch Property Management. So I was a leasing consultant for them. So it was one and the same with real estate. And then I was recruited by Oakwood Worldwide to go work for them. And it was the same model as Airbnb, but different on a corporate level. So it was corporate relocation, military relocation. Oh, wow. So I was able to capture a lot of companies. Well, my clients were IM Flash, Adobe, Zions, just everybody who really does business in Utah. I would house their corporate executives that come here for work in luxury apartments. So I would fully furnish them and then rent them out. It was subletting. So that was where I dipped my feet in the process, I guess you'd say. And then in 2016, I decided just to go into real estate full time. 2013, I went to real estate school, but I didn't do anything with it. I passed all the tests, did all the things, but I was just way too busy with Oakwood. There was no way I could focus any energy on anything except for what I was doing, because I was in the hot seat. If I didn't perform, people were losing their jobs.
Oh, geez.
So it was a pretty tense. It was fun though. Made one of my best friends there, and we just kind of ran the show. It was fun. So that's how I got to where I am.
And I know you specialize in relocation. It's one of them, your niches. That's a great niche to be in, because if people are moving here for jobs, interest rates don't really, if they have to buy a house and stuff.
It was really cool because I was able to meet a lot of people in that position. So I get a lot of leads from some really interesting places. Just places you wouldn't think that you would get leads from. So
Okay.
it was pretty cool.
That's awesome. And so when you first got started, so really in 2016, I wasn't here then. I don't know what the market looked like, but how did you go about getting your first transaction?
That was what was weird is I just said I was getting my license. I announced it on Facebook and I had my first client 2 weeks out the gate. And then
So from Facebook?
literally Facebook has been such an incredible tool for me because I work my sphere. That is really probably 90% of my business. I don't buy leads. It's all sphere of influence and referral based. So I announced it on Facebook that I got my license, got my first client 2 weeks out. We closed it, I was working with this awesome lender and we closed it, I think, within 2.5 weeks. It was something crazy. So it fell together pretty quick. And then within that first month, I had a stack of 10 files.
Oh my gosh.
It just from
Facebook? So that's kind of how, did you make phone calls to your SOI and ask them, do you know anyone? Or was it just strictly Facebook and you just because Facebook, I guess, probably more so back then, well, it's that long ago, it's not that long ago, but was more prevalent. A lot of people were more so on Facebook than Instagram.
Right.
And people are always on there trying to seeing what your friends are up to and your family and everything. So maybe.
Well, I can't talk today. I don't use Instagram very much. I barely use it. So yeah, all of it's really coming from Facebook, which is weird because most people tell me that a lot of people are using Instagram now. I don't know. I just never got into it. It was all Facebook.
That's awesome.
But I really stayed in front of people. Honestly, since Facebook came out, I've really kept in contact with people from kindergarten. I've sold houses to people I went to kindergarten with.
That is so cool.
Probably, I would say 6 or 7 people from kindergarten.
That is rad. That's awesome.
Cool.
And I guess it goes to show that it doesn't matter what you're doing, but you do post consistently on Facebook.
I do.
So I think that goes to show I don't think it matters where you're marketing on or what platform you're on, as long as your audience is on there, right? Mm-hmm. And that you're consistently posting.
So what I figured out was that when I wake up every morning, I just have this little ritual where I'll go to the birthdays, I'll wish everyone that's on my friends list that comes up a happy birthday, because that's how they're going to see your content. Is you need to interact with them. And even if it's like they post a picture of their baby or their puppy, just say how cute it is, or just something, interact with people, because that's what keeps you in front of them. That's what makes you roll through their feed. So that really has helped me to be successful with Facebook marketing.
That's awesome. So that's what you like every morning. You're doing that
Every morning.
What else do you do in the mornings? Do you have like morning routine?
So I sleep probably longer than I should in the mornings because I stay up late and work. I find that I'm able to get a lot more done staying up till 3 or 4 in the morning because nobody is calling me. Nobody's bothering me. So I feel like my day starts at probably around 4 or 5 p.m. and then it goes to about 4 a.m.
Oh, wow. But that makes sense that no one is bothering you at those times. And this is true. She's responded to me before at 1 a.m. I'm on do not disturb, so it doesn't wake me up.
I'm terrible. Sometimes I really have to look. I'm cognizant of that now. But before I was just like throwing out messages and I'm just like, oh gosh, it's like 2 a.m. And so I try to keep it to emails because most people aren't checking
they're not checking emails. Well, and like whatever you have to do, writing offers, all those things.
I just have to be in a place where I'm not being disturbed because obviously our contracts are important. Mm-hmm. You don't want to have any outside noise. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, to make sure they're correct. And that's awesome. And I mean, it just sounds like you have a routine and it works for you. Obviously, you are crushing it in real estate and have been for years.
Yeah. It's a little slower this year, but I'm here for it regardless. If it's going to slow down, I'll embrace it because last year was really tough. I moved around a little bit and last year was really hard on me. I don't even know how I got through last year, honestly.
Because you were so busy.
I was really busy. This year I'm still busy, but it's not like last year.
Okay.
And I think that has a lot to do with rates and whatnot. So.
Well, let's talk about last year though, because even last year was hard for a lot of real estate agents, a lot of buyers. Our interest rates haven't gone down, hardly any. So last year was, you said before we got on here, one of your highest volume years. So what do you think, what helped you last year get through that time?
So I was telling you when we were off camera, I really had to give in and hire TC. So I did that. I had a couple of different TCs. Lisa actually helped me a lot. Lisa was my spine last year. And that's kind of how I got through last year. It was just being able to let go, but she moves the way I do. So it's like, it wasn't too hard to give it up to her, but I don't know. I am a control freak with my files. I want to know what's going on all the time. So I think that was really challenging for me, was just admitting that I needed help.
And then, so that can be really mentally draining for people and physically exhausting too.
It does. I was like, I started losing my hair. I didn't eat. It was just, and you're eating unhealthy. You're eating gas station dinners. You're basically living out of your car because you're doing all this business out of your car. Wow. So it's definitely, I always say real estate isn't a career at all. It's a lifestyle. If you want to be successful, I feel like it's a sacrifice. You're sacrificing your family time. I left my uncle's funeral to be able to go show homes or to get the deal done. You just don't get what everybody else gets.
Thanks for being vulnerable and like sharing your real experiences. I think a lot of the social media and everything makes it so it's like this glamorous career, but it's really, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes, and you're really trying to facilitate a whole transaction. You've got so many moving pieces, and the communication has to be on point. You've got your buyers, the seller side, the title companies, the lenders, you got everyone home. There's so many moving parts.
That's the thing, is I think that I'm hearing a lot of noise on social media regarding the lawsuit and just how people view realtors, but the ones that are seriously crushing, I live it every day. I feel what they're feeling, and it's disheartening to hear stuff like that because you've given up and you're working on a transaction where you have the buyer, but your buyer has a house to sell, so you have their house under contract to sell. You're trying to make sure that their purchase is going smoothly. You're working together with your lenders, title, and everybody has to, like I said, move like you do and do their part, because if they slide out in any way, the whole transaction can fall apart. Like us realtors, we don't get you there by ourselves. We have a team of people to get you there. I don't ever like to take full credit for the transaction because I know how important my lender is. I know how important my title company is. They don't catch something, that's bad. Everything, we could get sued. It's not just like, I think they think, oh, your boss is your broker and they'll take care of it. They're the company. No, we're our own thing. When somebody's getting sued, it's us. It's our money on the line when we're marketing your home. When we're putting forth any money up front, it's our money. That's our bread and butter. We're taking away from our families to sell your home. And then you times that or multiply that by 10 if you have 10 files going at once. These are all things that you're trying to watch at once. And it's really hard. There's nothing easy about it.
No, I couldn't imagine. Because just being on the escrow side, we'll have multiple files at the same time. And it's just like so many moving parts and people to talk to and emails and all of the things that you've got to keep going to stay on deadlines so you don't get sued, so your buyers don't lose earnest money. So there's so many things.
There's so many moving parts, and I think it's disheartening when you hear people say all you do is open doors and push papers, and like that is not all we do. We are problem solvers. We're therapists. The amount of energy that is sucked out of you daily just from, we're dealing with people who their parents have died, their kids have died, and we have to sell their home. We're selling people's childhood homes, divorce, death, debt. It's all on the table. And at the end of the day, we're the ones that are on the phone with these people. We're the ones holding their heads in our hands, telling them that everything's going to be okay. And we really don't even know if it will be. We have to go home and somehow shrug that energy off and deal with our own families. It's not all that meets the eye. I think that people just need to understand there's just more to it than what they think.
For sure. So how do you make, I know you're on Facebook, but do you make your SOI calls? Do you call your people?
So no, I don't, and I probably would do a lot better if I did. I just don't have the time, honestly. So I just really depend on people who know what they want. They come to me. I always say what's meant to be mine will find me. I'm not a person that goes out and seeks the business because I just believe it will come.
Okay. What have you been telling your buyers in this market?
Sorry.
No, you're okay.
What am I telling them?
Yeah. So you have a buyer that comes and their payments are going to be higher because the interest rates are higher and the home prices are higher. What do those conversations look like? And do you have a process? Are you sending them to the lender first? Are they...
Sorry. I had a bit of a anxiety tick. I don't know. So I really just send them to lending first. That's my first step. And then I let the lender tell me what they're qualifying at. I don't really get involved in the lending side. I don't like to because I feel like, because I do have a lot of lenders that will come to me and they'll be like, send me business. And as much as I would love to, I usually just send 3 or 4 names because I've had some interesting experiences where it'll fall apart and I don't want that falling back on me. I gave you 4 names. You chose your lender. So I'm not married to a lender, but that is my first step.
Okay. And then what are you telling your sellers right now? When you have listings, are you seeing that people are skeptical of selling because they have a lower interest rate, or are you just seeing it because it's like a life change and they have to? Or
for selling right now, gosh, it's just all different. A lot of mine right now they're selling their parents' homes who passed away.
Oh.
That's a lot of them. I have one. It was an unfortunate situation. He had to go to jail. Interestingly enough, I get a lot of business from jail.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. A lot of, it's funny, I think that, because they have this WebEx type visit system to visit people in jail. And I think if you saw how many times I've had to schedule those calls, you'd be like, wow.
Really? This is the first that I've heard.
I get a lot of business from jail.
And is it inmates referring in there?
It's referral.
That's crazy.
It's
That's
funny.
one.
I know.
You're probably the only realtor that is getting that business.
Yeah.
So there you go.
I get a lot of business from there. A lot of death. For whatever reason, death kind of follows me. It's not funny, but I get a lot of people that I guess associate me with that.
Interesting.
Maybe it's because I wear black all the time.
That's so interesting. Well, and I wonder too, people must feel like gravitated towards you. You're going to take care of them in like a dark time. You know?
I think that it might be because there's a lot that I've experienced with death, a lot of grief, a lot of loss. And people know that in my sphere. They know that about me. So maybe they just realize that I do understand. Mm-hmm. Grief is hard. We have to go through it. We can't go under it, around it. We have to go through it. So it's just...
That's a great
part of life.
That's a great piece of advice. Can we talk about... So you have an MRP, an ABR, and CLHMS. So MRP, that's military relocation, I'm assuming.
Professionally.
And then ABR?
It's accredited buyer representative. So.
And then what about CLHMS?
Certified Luxury Home Marketing Specialist.
Oh. So why was it important for you to get all these designations? Because that's extra education, extra time that you have to take.
Yeah. So in my downtime, I love to learn, for one thing. I think that we should take advantage of any time that we have that's down. We always I look at real estate like yoga. It's a practice. You will probably never master it. We have the opportunity to learn, and I think that brings more value to our clients. So that's why they were important to me. The luxury designation was important to me because I do sell luxury homes on the luxury level. So I just wanted that extra level of knowledge with flooring and hardware, stuff like that.
It is higher end and different.
You don't want to leave money on the table because you don't know what kind of flooring they have.
And stone.
You have to understand.
So they go through all of that. Oh, I did not know that.
And then we are part of a network of agents that have the same knowledge. So let's say I get a client that is moving to California, or somebody's moving here from California to Utah and they have a luxury home. Obviously, they're probably going to trade. We can connect with people within our network to refer that business out to. So it's really cool in that sense.
That's awesome. Have you received?
I have received referrals through that network.
What do you think has contributed? Because how many years in a I at least know it's been at least 2, but how many years in a row have you been top 500?
No, actually, I missed it by just barely. Each of the years, I barely got 500 last year, but it was by a hair.
Really?
It bummed me out, but it is what it is.
Well, what do you think has contributed to your success? Because you are busy, and I'm telling you, last year was very hard, and I already know this year a lot of agents are not renewing. I've already had conversations with people that I'm checking in on to see how they're doing, and they're like, you know what, I'm actually not going to be renewing. So what do you think has contributed to your success, along with what makes you stand out as an agent?
I think that for me, it's that I've been able to keep my connections really tight with my sphere. It really is. I know that sounds like a lot of people say that they're gatekeepers and they don't want to say where their business is coming from, which is unfortunate because I feel like we should all be sharing. There's enough to go around for everyone. And I think that it's really important to share that with other people because I want to surround myself with the best. And I think that when you share knowledge, you share that knowledge, it'll come back to you. People will start sharing with you. So for me, it's just working my sphere. I go to all the things like baby showers, birthday parties, if I can, if I have time. If I don't, I send a card with money. Because I want them to know that even though I don't have time for them, they're important to me. The people around me are important to me. They rallied around me at one of the hardest and darkest times of my life. People can say a lot about the town I grew up in. I hear a lot of people say, Tooele, but you know what? That town rallies. Like when something bad happens, they rally.
They have your back.
I received so much support from them. I've been through some really hard things, and they were all there, and they all lifted me up. They all supported me and my family, my entire family. So it just feels important to me to give back. So it's a lot. It's sometimes you have to give up a portion of your commissions to make the deal happen. Do it. That you got that far, their heart is set on that home. There's times you don't get paid at all, but it'll come back around. They'll give you a referral, or I feel like it always comes back tenfold. And that's not why you should do good things. I don't believe that, but I believe that we're put in front of people to make a difference for them in their lives. And homeownership is so important. It's not even ownership. I always say you're never going to own a home. We still have to pay taxes after we pay it off. But investing is so important. And if there's a young kid out there that wants to get into a house, or a family who's been renting for 20 something years, and they're like, we have an empty nest now and we want to purchase, if they're a little bit short on what they need to come in with, reduce your commissions. I'm not telling people to do that, but you consider it.
But you're seeing when the time comes, it comes around. You're helping the community. You're helping someone's dreams.
Because it's like, to me, it's part of being an American. That's one of the best parts of being an American, is that we can we can own a piece of earth, or at least invest in. And I believe that that's the quickest way to financial freedom is real estate.
Totally.
And I, in a sense, feel like they're trying to take that away from us. And it's not fair.
Let's say you have somebody that's been renting for a really long time. How do you get in the conversation with them about how they can get started and what a difference in their financial life that can make? Just kind of, do you go over numbers?
So I haven't had to have that conversation with anyone because they just come to the realization that they're throwing their money away on their own. I don't like to come across as salesy or like that. I feel like if I approach people with that information, it almost seems not genuine. I don't want to make it seem like I have anything to benefit from it. I truly want them the best for them, but they have to want it too. And I find that the ones that are truly ready, I'm not going to waste my breath. I'm not going to waste my breath on somebody that's not ready or that's going to perceive me as being like, well, what's in it for you? Come to me if you want to buy a home and I'll get you there. It's never going to be a no. It's how do we get you there? But I don't feel that it's necessary for me to be like, oh my gosh, why are you renting? You're so stupid. It's that's their business, and that's not a conversation for me to have with them. So I don't really do that, to be honest.
Do you have a lot of clients that invest?
I do.
You do?
I do. I have a lot of clients that invest. I have a lot of cash buyers. I have a lot of people that they'll buy one home. I'm working with a client right now. I'm really proud of her. She went through some struggles with addiction, and her story is, well, I actually have a few friends that I've helped that struggled with addiction, and they purchased homes and they're working on their second home.
Wow.
And they're renting the first one out. Because for me, I try to get people to keep their real estate, especially if they have a good rate. I don't want to see them sell a home if they have a 3% rate. That seems crazy to me because you're being paid to live there. Keep it, rent it. But what a lot of people don't know is that you can get money out of your home or to put down on the next home. Mm-hmm. And then it frees up your DTI so that you can just go qualify for a whole new loan as long as you have a year lease on that current home, which I'm not supposed to be talking about the lending portion, but it's doable. There's ways that you can if you can stack real estate, what was the math? I think it was 5 or 6 homes. If you have 5 or 6 homes, you can retire. And that's what I want for my friends and my family and the people who use me. Mm-hmm. That's what I want for them. I want them to figure out that this whole thing that we've been brainwashed to accept, it's a game. It's a big scam. We're taught to wake up every morning and be to school at 8 a.m. and stay there till 3:30, whatever, 4 o'clock in this little teeny room with 30 other people. That's crazy to me. And then we accept the measly little morsels that they give us at the end of those 2 weeks. You will never get anywhere like that. You have to think of other ways to make money. People think, oh, I'm getting $1 raise, and we're excited about that. Be excited about your accomplishment, but that game and that system is meant to hold us down. Mm-hmm. That's why they send us to public school. And when I was a little kid, I always used to think, why is public school free? And it's because they get to teach us what they want to teach us. Mm-hmm. Why didn't I ever learn about mortgages in school, real estate, and investing? Why didn't I ever learn about any of that?
Right.
It's all because they know if we figure that out, we're going to break free from the chains. We're not a slave to the game anymore. And I just had an argument with the guy. It wasn't even his fault, but the guy that works at T-Mobile today. My bill went up $7, $5, $6, $7, and well, 20 total. And I was upset about it because I'm like, what service am I getting? What more am I getting? I go to Harmon's and I buy a tomato 75 cents more than it was 2 months ago. It's still a tomato. It's not doing any more for me. It's not tomatoing any more than it was tomatoing 2 months ago. You know what I mean? So what value are you bringing to me? And they teach them to say, oh, it's inflation, it's this and that. But why? Why? We're paying more in taxes. We're paying more in everything. Why? The world seems the same, if not worse.
It's so true.
So I just think that for me, it's just educating people on, sorry, I went off on that tangent, but it's like, for me, it's just educating people on investing.
So when let's say you have a first-time home buyer, are you planting that seed? Do you say this is a great starter home? Or let's say it's like truly a starter home and they just didn't come to you with like tons of cash and ready to buy their forever home.
So my spiel, I guess, to them is just that I say, this doesn't need to be your forever home. This is a stepping stone. This is for you to build equity. This is for you to live in it for 2 years, commit to 2 years to avoid the capital gain. And then will get you into something that you really want. You either sell this one, depending on the market, or you keep it, rent it out. Let's start stacking real estate. Let's make this happen for you. That's my spiel to them. And some of them listen. Some of them want to sell at the end. But I'm so proud of the ones that want to hang on to it because I want the best for them.
And I was talking about this. I heard this quote and I really wish it was in a class, but the guy said that you can't buy groceries with equity. And it was like, so true. Equity just sits there and it's like in this cloud. And this guy today was like, it's like crypto.
It's like, get it out and you start stacking.
Start making money with that. Because right now it's not making you any money. So, and I love that you're educating your clients in the beginning so they know what to expect. This is the stepping stone. This is and it is so true. Had I my first home, we were just scared. We moved states, but our mortgage was $700 on it. Right now, it's over $2,000.
You'll never get that back.
You know what I mean?
And it's only gonna get worse. We're only gonna start paying more and more and more every year. And it's like, if you have an opportunity in front of you, don't let it go. There's people who their parents will die, or I have a client right now, her aunt died and she wants to sell the house, in which I get why she wants to sell it, but I also am like, gosh, you're never gonna get a house for free ever again. Let this pay you monthly and hand it down, hand the house down, but you could lead a horse to water. It's just, people will do what they want to do, but I work with a lot of millennials, and what I love about the millennials is that they're smarter than we were. I don't care what anybody says about them. They can say what they want about the Tide Pods and whatnot, but I mean, yeah, they can do some pretty crazy, outlandish things, but they're really paying attention. And that's what I love about TikTok and social media in general, because there's so much information at our fingertips. Not all of it's accurate, but it's starting the conversation. It's triggering their thoughts. They're thinking about stuff differently. Like, I didn't think about the things that my kids even think about. It wasn't until later on that I was like, I guess I was thinking about it, but I didn't care about the answer. I didn't care enough to look into it. And they do. They understand investments. They understand equity. Those are words that didn't mean anything to me. I bought my first house at 19. I knew I was going to have equity, but I was like, what does that even mean? Yeah. I didn't care. So I love that. And back to that, a lot of people will say that millennials are lazy and they live in their parents' basements, but where are they supposed to go? Everything is so bad right now. They can't afford anything else. They're not being paid anymore. They're so expensive. Car insurance, phones. Where are they supposed to go?
It's so true. I taught a Gen Z class actually today before this. And it's so, because the older Gen Zers are coming to age that they're buying homes. And it said, there's one statistic that 38% of Gen Z home buyers received information about the home buying process on TikTok. That is wild.
It is wild. It is.
On TikTok, people are getting... I've got one agent, he's over here. He's getting so much business from TikTok, but it's all in Spanish.
Oh.
And there's not like a home buying Spanish niche on TikTok. And so like it's going crazy for him.
That's so cool. Good for him. Because it's just educating people on how easy it is to buy a house. It's not that hard. It really isn't. I feel like, honestly, in hindsight, when I think about it, it was harder to find an apartment to rent. The process was way harder than buying a house.
It's true.
But people are scared. What I'm finding is they're scared to be told no. And that's why I always tell them, we're never going to tell you no. We're going to get you there.
I love that. We'll never say no.
Yeah.
It's just not right now. We just need to figure out whatever it is, and then we'll work on it, and then we'll get you in. We'll get you in there.
One kid, I've been working with him for like 2 years, and he is doing all the things he was told to do, and he's persistent. I could tell he wants it. He's hungry for it. So he's the kind of kid that when it comes down to it, if he's short on money, I'll give up some commissions to make it happen. Or if I have to, all of it. I've done it because I see how bad he wants it.
Well, and I know we talked a little bit about it earlier. It's not that you're expecting anything back, but just naturally contribution in whatever form that you can, right? Whether it be educating the public, educating other agents, coming on this podcast and sharing all your advice and everything, or helping your clients that want it so badly and they're working towards it, and you see that it does come back to you.
It really does.
And there's nothing bad about that, and it's just the way of life. That's how we keep going, is contributing.
I just truly believe that we're here to help each other in whatever form. We all have a gift. We all have some sort of talent. I just so happen to excel at real estate, and I have a lot of friends and family that want to buy homes. They want to sell homes. And so I am happy to be that tool or catalyst to get them to where they need to be. And I have friends that are also talented in certain areas. So it's like I have a client, he's an attorney. We've been friends since kindergarten. We sat next to each other in class all the time. We've stayed friends over the years, and he's so awesome. He doesn't need me. He's a real estate attorney. He doesn't need me to buy and sell real estate, but he uses me anyway. And I think that is so cool. When I need him for advice, legal advice or whatever, he's always there for me. So it's really cool to use our talents. It's like barter. You're trading your talents. Cool.
And making those connections. Yeah.
It's really
for sure. Where, if you could go back and talk to yourself, your new agent self, back in 2016, what would you tell?
So
Stephanie?
For one, I would tell new agent Stephanie to set up my LLC and all that stuff correctly right out the gate. Because I didn't do so well right at the start. I was running things through my social security. I didn't know how to do any of that. Now I have an S Corp. So I don't know. I think a lot would be separating your business accounts from your personal accounts, stuff like that. I think that's the biggest thing, because I think that's what I've struggled with the most. Just kind of fixing is the way I set up my business from the start. The other thing would be that, I guess, from the real estate client aspect, I would probably have started cultivating maybe marketing in certain areas, mailers, stuff like that. I would have started planting those seeds early on. And
to a specific farm area?
I would have done that because a lot of my business comes from Tooele County, majority of it. And I get a lot here too, but it's majority's Tooele County. But everybody wants to sell closer to where they live. It's easier. But I love helping the people where I grew up though. So but I think I would just start cultivating a lot of leads near my home.
Where do you see yourself going?
So
personal business.
The beach. I don't fit vacations.
I don't even know how to turn on airplane mode. I
don't go on. I would hope to have a better work-life balance in the years to come. I really want to spend a lot more time with my kids, and I have a grandbaby now. Well, he's going to be 3 at the end of the month, but he's like the light of my life. I love him so much. I feel like just spending more time with family.
And I know we talked a little bit before we started recording that might look like hiring an assistant.
I think that I'm going to try to, that's the other thing. What I would tell myself in 2016, to budget my money, my marketing money, I think for a while there, it was just a free-for-all. I'm just like, oh, it's easy to throw money at things. It's like, oh gosh, I don't have time to do that, so I'm just going to pay for it. I'm just going to pay for it. And so you see your bank account dwindling. And so I think that I would have been better at budgeting. So that's where I see myself going, is just budgeting my money better, my business, and focusing a lot on a good work-life balance.
That's awesome. Well, do you want to share anything else before we end?
Gosh, let me think. I can't think of anything. I guess when you're put on the spot, I'll think of a million things after I leave here. But you're so awesome.
No, you are.
I really enjoyed getting to know you. You're really good at what you do, and speaks volumes, the way that you treat people.
Oh, Stephanie. I was not expecting that. Thank you. You're so sweet. I appreciate you. And I'm glad that we've gotten to get closer too. So, are you okay?
No, I am. I'm just happy to be here.
We hope you enjoyed this episode. Please rate us, like us, and share this podcast with our real estate community. The Nova Show Real Estate Record, sharing raw stories of real estate failures, lessons, wins, and successes. This is all from Novation Title, bringing a different experience into your world so that we can all uplift each other. Until next time.